LeBlanc banned now by IM, and the Rise taken out as well, so they don't even want to fool with that.
Might as well. We're going to have the Fly versus Thigh lane. Oh, good.
Thy Fly.
Thy Fly.
And Lulu taken, actually, for the first pick right here.
Huh. Well, Fly had a great game on Lulu.
Thy.
Or not really. Thigh did.
Yeah, Thy will have an opportunity to play in Italy right here. We don't know where that Lulu is going quite yet. Lee Sin available for the first rotation now from the red side draft on IM. Twisted Fate, of course, we've seen Fly do great things with that champion in the past.
Yeah.
Fly also a big-time Nidalee player, however.
Well, TF was a good ban. I think Thigh needs to pick up Nidalee. You can't make a claim like he did and not go with the Nidalee when you get a chance.
Well, you know, Lulu does fine against Nidalee in lane, can push her in early, also has some of the shielding with the help picks for the late game, and there's the Nidalee taken right away.
Yeah.
Bold.
Interesting. Bold, but possibly very good. You never know.
Well, they always have the option to play Lulu as support or in the top lane and then pick in that Yasuo, but they're going to go ahead and prioritize the Lucian this game. Bori has a chance to reprise his very good game on Twitch.
Yeah.
Captain Jack, he's really come into his own as a Lucian player as well.
Can also pick up that Nami, too, for I'm #1. If they decide to do that, they will need a bit of disengage if they go for a bit of a siege comp. Twitch with a siege comp, though. We haven't seen that work out terribly well in the past.
Well, Twitch Nidalee is a pick comp. That's just how it turns out. So you could take something like Twitch Morgana would be very strong here. Of course, Morgana also prevents a lot of the Leona engages because you could just black shield somebody. And so that makes getting picks out of a brush a lot harder. Also using the Zenith Blade or following up with subsequent stuns after the Zenith Blade.
Ooh, Twitch Alistar, that would be interesting.
Well, Alistar also a Leona counter pick.
Yeah. Be pretty cool.
Because the thing is with Leona, okay, she goes in, just gets kicked out, punted out immediately.
Headbutted out.
Yeah, there's no follow-up after that. So she is,
there it is.
Alistar is commonly used to counter Leona. It's kind of the only circumstance that Alistar is used in the professional scene these days. But also offers a lot of good engage. Headbutt pulverize if you can land that combo. And yeah, Vlad is not something we're going to see. We may see Karthus, possible.
Would they just keep that Lulu in top then, I guess? I suppose. But we might see the... Ooh, interesting. Okay, so there it is going to be the Kha'Zix jungle and then Jace up in the top lane. All right.
Yeah, Jax. Trace did very well on that Jax. He got a lot of early farm against his opponent, and they were confident in that lane swap situation. So now it's up to IM #1. Do they want to play a Shyvana? They could go with something more carry-oriented, but of course the risks of the lane swap very apparent. They could try and get the Renekton as well to punish the Jax early on. You can also, if you really want to all in a 1v1, you could maybe pick up Rumble.
True enough. Or you could just take Pantheon. Doubt it. Kayle would be an interesting pick. Nice bully lane there. But not a top laner we see a whole lot of. Yeah, that's cute.
Little throwback to the top lane Hecarim we saw last night before jumping right back onto the Kayle. And, you know, Kayle may be making a little bit of a comeback into the top lane.
Well, Kayle's one of those champions, and they will lock it in, that you can play marginally well in any lane, really. Top, middle, and support.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of support Kayle in quite some time. You could actually jungle Kayle relatively effectively as well.
That's the thing, is she's like okay at everything, but not like spectacular at any one thing, except for maybe mid.
Well, she does have decent jungle clear speeds. I am actually going to be heavily reliant on Bewing's Alistar ultimate in order to tank damage right here and provide peel for a very high damage team fighting composition from Kayle, Nidalee, and Twitch. So I like what we're seeing so far from IM #1, but they're really reliant on Bewing's performance, not only in terms of using his ultimate at the right time, but also in terms of engage, because he is about the only form of engage they have, and if he messes up his combo, basically Degener Cells can all in them and get in onto that back line pretty darn easily.
I'm just worried about Bewing because I feel like any second Harry Potter might smash into the booth and beat him up for stealing his glasses.
He needs that tape, though, around the...
That's true. He also needs a lightning-shaped scar, but I guess you can't really steal that from Harry Potter. That'd be kind of weird.
The makeup ladies can provide that.
That's true. Yeah, why didn't they? We're going to have a talk with them. Well, there is a roster. The game is loading up. The winner of this game will move on to Champion Summer. Will it be the Jin Air Stealths or Incredible Miracle #1? Somebody's moving on. Somebody has to keep fighting. Let's get in the game. All right, guys, here we go. The winner's match, the Jin Air Stealths versus Incredible Miracle #1. We need to start thinking of Incredible Miracle team names if they make it in, too.
Yeah, and let's see here. Full ward starts from both supports. A bit interesting. I Am with the Alistar really wants to get into a 2v2 here, and they also want to punish the Jax with the KL. So both teams really wanting something. In Jin Air's case, it's lane swap. In IM's case, it is those standard lanes. A lot of wards going down early. Now, they did early ward their blue buff, so they will see the Trinket ward hit the blue buff on that side of the map, but we'll see them at the start, considering it was placed 55 seconds. A little bit sloppy warding right there.
Oh, whoops. Yeah. That's awkward. Jin Air moving up towards the top lane. They will spot IM coming through.
Now, Alistar has a sweeping lens. He could use it on the brush right here, but he is not going to, so they will, in fact, be seen. However, they don't have any deep wards in the jungle, and there is a lens also on Che.
I believe Viewing actually did use his lens right there to clear that out.
Oh, yeah, it looks like he did.
Yep.
Right.
Just checking for the cooldown. And so the invades continue. And we certainly have seen, I think, some... the last 2 days anyway, a little bit more dynamic level 1s now that we've got the teams getting used to the new patch a little bit more.
Yeah, Che throws down that ward in between the inhibitor and tier 2 turret. They've got vision control over the side.
They see people. And Jin Air a bit scattered right now. They're going to lose that pink ward too. What a crazy level 1. They're going to finally go in onto that red. And that means that Jin Air is actually going to get a little bit of a slower jungle start.
So, and also, it does look like they're going to get the lanes they wanted. Jin Air Stealths, that is, as they immediately have Captain Jack and Che rush down to the bottom side. So the ward war is working out.
Yeah, not bad.
In Jin Air's favor, right at level 1. Buing coming in for a little bit of harassment here onto Chase.
Chaser? Oh, Chaser, yeah. It's easy to just call him Chase.
Yeah, it is.
I gotta say, there's some difficult player names tonight.
Okay, so clearing out the blue buff right there. So IM just wants that timer because they have the control over that side of the map. So very important that they can get a blue invade right there. Trace.
Oh, here we go. Smurf and Smeb are right there. Captain Jack trying to put some damage onto Smurf. The blue buff does go over to Smurf, though, but there's a counter-strike. They get the flash. Meanwhile, oh, here comes Chaser chasing down Smurf. Smurf a bit low, and Chaser will pick that up after the flash. So first blood, the buff steals. Things going pretty good for Jin Air.
And that is a primary reason why you do not get greedy and try to go for a three buff start right there coming in because, well, oh, sorry, I messed it up. But he delayed the camp, I believe, to come over there, which allowed the jungle invade to happen. So,
red buff on both the top laner and the jungler now for Jin Air. And that's going to really help out Trace once he finally goes to lane.
Yeah, you have to be super careful if you're going to be trying to take the buff on the side of the map with the enemy duo for that reason. And that was just a very nicely executed play. And now that they've delayed it, so the other thing that this has done is it's allowed Trace to safely go up into the top lane. Because they got the kill onto Lee Sin, he's just not going to have the timing to be in your side of the jungle. So basically, you kill him, you know that he can't possibly be in your blue side jungle, so he can't dive you if you actually teleport to the top lane. And the result in all of this is that Trace is now a level up.
Yep, and now they get that 1v1 as well, although Smurf is
Nope,
coming
they're
in
going to recall. So what happened here is they're going to push the wave in allow it to press out the other way, and then have Trace go ahead and recall and get into a 1v2 in the bottom lane with a level advantage. So Trace not being denied right now, Smurf really unable to do a whole lot without the buff, and Smeb not having all 3 of his abilities yet.
Yeah. Yeah, only level 2. He's got that Righteous Fury, and that's about it.
Oh, they're going to dive.
Yeah, Chaser coming up here as well. Smeb being 2 levels down now. Oh boy, this is going to be a pretty brutal dive. Even if he has the W heal, it's going to be actually a 4-person dive, it looks like.
Well, I mean, Smurf is coming up, but I'm not sure that's going to stop the dive. You have 2 red buffs on 2 different champions. Smurf is going to ward that, but Smeb is in a rough location at the moment.
He's finally going back now. Can he make it out? No, he's going back towards the turret.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no, this is not looking good for Smeb. And just going to get dove, not even staying near the turret, and an easy gank. The kill going to Captain Jack, which is pretty nice for Jin Air on top of all that.
Now, the price they paid was in a little bit of farm in the bottom lane. Of course, the AD carry, Bori from IM now slightly ahead. Jack will just go ahead and dash out of the turret aggro, but Jack not really paying too much for that, considering he got the kill, of course, as well.
Yeah.
That gain, and they are going to be able to press down the top lane tower, possibly trading it for bot, but there's a lot of damage left to go and not a lot of minions left over. Jack slowly just firing, and he'll probably go back into lane freezing right here because they have such a substantial advantage.
True enough. Well, we've got that 1v2 again. And so far, just a really tactical game from both sides.
Well, Jin Air Zealous again showing how much better they are at punishing these situations. That invade onto the blue buff really cost IM, because not only did it take the life of Smurf, but it allowed Trace to get a level advantage in top lane, and it caused Smeb to die as well. But they were a little bit delayed in responding to that. Also, Alistair probably should have recalled.
Oh, Chaser, a little bit caught here, but they don't. Oh, they do get the slow on him in the end, but the Q from Lee Sin does not land.
And trying to respond here, but Trace just falls back naturally in that situation, and he's still going to be all right. He's still got that 10 CS advantage.
Looks like both teams will trade turrets at about the same time. Just both teams doing a bit of farming. In no real hurry to push that one down.
And Trace has to be careful because he should know that that jungle is probably warded pretty thoroughly at the moment, so he actually has to head back up. And IM not going to finish off the tower, though that minion wave might. And then go ahead and take an early dragon because they do have the bottom side control.
Well, Trace is going to see the ward. Is he going to try to go for a steal here? Don't think it's quite worth it. Nope. So dragon will be given up over to IM #1. Turret goes down in their favor as well.
Not only that, but Jax doesn't get the lane freeze because they just let the minions slowly take out that turret. And we're going to see something similar up here as Captain Jack just waits patiently as long as possible. But the cannon minion wave making things take a little bit.
Like one more hit. 12 hit points. There we go.
Finish off that one and go ahead and recall. Cannon minion pushing out towards Jin Air at the moment, so no freeze possible in the top lane either. Have Trace and Smeb now matched up again. Trace still has a small experience edge and a pretty solid CS lead at this point.
Yeah.
Blue buff, of course, timed by IM, so they're going to try and go for an invade. They're a little bit late. They didn't set that up quite as well as they could.
Well, so far, Jin Air still playing to a little bit of a lead. This really is kind of about how we expected this game to go so far. IM could certainly turn it around. It's anyone's game at this point, but
at the very least, IM played the bottom side of the map well, where they picked up the dragon and they denied the freeze and they got the bottom lane turret. So that's pretty good by them to make the most out of unfortunate early game situation.
Blue buff is back. And will we see an invade from Jin Air? Probably not this time around.
Smeb just going for the Berserker Greaves first just to maximize his trading damage in terms of auto attacks with Righteous Fury. On to Trace, give himself a little bit more mobility alongside of the speed boost he gets from his heal.
It's not a bad first sighted pickup if you are a little bit behind. Ooh, supports might find each other. No, not quite. Like two ships passing in the night. Oh, there will be a bit of a blue invade. Coming in. Oh, a lot of damage. Wow, onto Thai and Smurf. You need to be careful there, and that's going to help out Jin Air a little bit.
It's going to help out Jin Air a lot. Denying the blue buff to Nidalee is absolutely huge. Fly also
Look at this pressure on the mid lane, too.
Yeah, using the blue buff advantage in order to bully Nidalee out, and that causes another buff to go over, and that is absolutely massive. You can see Jin Air, they got the timer on their own blue, but because Buing went and cleared it out, they were able to actually go from one blue spawn and then a minute later to another one.
There's another dive on the Smeb, and he is level 6. Doesn't even have, well, a reason to pop that ultimate.
Well, he was stunned.
Yeah, well, even still, I mean, that's a situation where you just don't even bother using the cooldown. You're going to die anyway.
Captain Jack again, just freezing his heart out up in the top lane. Bori trying to make some moves, though. He only has the Cutlass, so it's not. And Captain Jack just too close to the tower right now. Buing coming in for a dive.
They may dive it, though. Yeah, Captain Jack getting poked pretty low.
Buing is not 6.
Coming in. There's a head buff. There's a pulverize. And can Captain Jack get away? He'll dash. He'll flash. And he'll make it.
Yeah, Buing took a lot of damage right there, too. A little bit of a bold play right beforehand. They're trying to get some damage onto the tower, but Captain Jack goes ahead and uses a culling. He will be able to sustain pretty nicely with the Vamp Scepter and the BF Sword before he recalls. So good dodge out of that one by Jack.
Yeah. Hard to catch Captain Jack.
That's what I hear.
It's the word on the street anyway, or the word on the ocean, I guess I should say.
He's the modern Captain Jack, the airplane pirate.
That's right. Now we're going into like tailspin territory, you know? Remember that?
I had totally forgotten about that show until you just mentioned it.
Baloo went from this like random bear to just like this airplane piloting bear.
That was really weird.
It was a great idea, though.
Was it?
Yeah, Sky Pirates are awesome, man.
Well, Sky Pirates are awesome. The Baloo inclusion is strange.
Well, they needed to have a tie-in somehow, right? It made no sense, but they needed to make it work, and it did. It worked beautifully. Apparently, the bare necessities include a biplane as well.
Air piracy.
Yeah.
That is the bare necessities of life. I mean, really, isn't that the most exciting thing of all? At the baseline, everybody should have as much as excitement as
a biplane.
A biplane.
Yep, it's true. You need, if you're a bear, you need honey and bugs and a biplane. Pretty much. Bees, bugs, biplane. Well, bee is a bug, but you get what I'm saying.
I mean, really, when we get down to it, isn't not giving bears biplanes a form of animal cruelty? We are, in fact, denying them the bare necessities of life.
Well, we don't know what great heights the races of bears around the world could reach if only they had biplanes. The power of flight needs to be given to bears right now.
Yeah, it gives a new meaning to Death from Above, I think.
You know, in 4 years, I'll be able to run for president of the United States, and that's going to be my platform, the Flying Bears platform. Vote Doa 2000. I'm not even going to use my real name. Yep, Doa 2018.
It'll be a proud day when presidents use IDs.
That's right. Well, my game ID is President Doa. Yep. More pushing across the map. Pretty much par for the course. I better get used to golfing terms if I'm going to be president, you know. Got to hobnob with those dignitaries and all that. Yeah.
Are you also going to promise death caps to all supports?
A death cap for every support. That's right.
Down with carries.
For Hearthstone, an angry chicken in every deck. You want to be my vice president? No, you're
no,
more.
I don't want that power.
I see you as more of like head of my Secret Service or head of the CIA or something like that.
That's fine. I'll take that one.
You look like the wiretapping type to me.
I don't know what to think about that, Doa.
It's okay. We'll have CLG be my Secret Service. Dragon goes over to Jin Air.
Personally, I wouldn't recommend that. I don't
No,
think
you don't think so?
Anybody wants that. Your life would truly be on the line then.
I guess so. Oh, and there's the engage. There's the pulverize. IM needs to back off there. They're going to knock out Che. There's the solar flare, though. Slowing down Thai. They'll be happy to take that kill. So IM getting pushed away now. And the edge for Jin Air continuing to grow.
Yeah, just pretty easy dragon control right there. If we look at the wards on the map at the moment, just total dominance in terms of vision for Jin Air. They're also going to be able to take that buff away. And really, Jin Air has just been hitting a lot of really good timings.
Fly's going to get jumped on by that tier 2 turret. And now that turret in big trouble. Jin Air coming in. I don't think there's much that IM can do to stop this.
No, you really have to applaud Jin Air. The thing that they have done very well in both of these games is been set up for all objectives.
Wow. Oh, a 4-man pulverize, 3-man pulverize. No, it was a 4-man pulverize, but no counter engage. Oh, here we go. Now Smurf tried to get in, but a little bit too dangerous. Makes it out.
Buing didn't have Unbreakable Will to be used right there. Che takes the spear, but it doesn't actually manage to finish him off.
Yeah.
Oh my, the dominance. It's just Jin Air. Their rotations and their hitting of their power spikes is so good.
Yeah.
They're able to just set up for every buff, transition very smoothly, objective to objective, and they have such a good read on how they're going to beat this team. They know that if they could just perpetually deny and Nidalee these blue buffs, they're going to be in a great opportunity just to siege and wear down their opponents over time.
Man, me and Vice President Baloo the Bear guarantee that Jin Air will win this game.
We'll have to see. The people might be angry if your guarantee falls through, though.
Well, that's a pretty common occurrence with President, so I'm not too worried about it, you know? Again, I'll use the phrase par for the course. I'm not worried.
Your golf analogies already top tier.
They hit a hole-in-one every time.
Well, Jin Air passing off the blue buff over to Fly right now. It's pretty early for them to actually push this lead any further. They may be able to actually siege down another top tier 2, but they want this Jax to get even bigger than he already is. And there's not a dragon for them to take, so it's just kind of going to be milling around farming for another couple of minutes while they allow Trace to go up onto the top side and grab as much farm as he can.
Well, you know, I can't say it enough, just the importance of the farming communities, you know, in our great nation.
Our great nation of Korea.
I appreciate what they do. The plants they grow for us to eat.
You're just a man of the people, though.
I am. I'm the every gamer. There's the culling. A little bit of damage to Bori, but you've got double heals there from Nidalee and Alistar, so.
Captain Jack very narrowly avoiding that spear, just knowing the exact distance of that skill shot. Now Trace put some hurt onto Smeb.
A lot of hurt onto Smeb. Smeb with some counter hurt.
Well, that's the thing. Your counter strike is down. You just get smacked around a little bit by the attack speed on the Righteous Fury. Nothing that Jax can really do about that as he decides to pull back. But he does have a little bit better sustain just from items. Fly.
Bori. Yeah, Fly taking a lot of damage there. Needs to be careful. I mean, there is still a big danger in this Twitch. He's got an item. He's got some damage. And they can definitely sneak up on you.
Still playing it a little bit aggressively. Bori doesn't have his ult. He already used that. So Fly feeling comfortable considering he does have the wild growth. Wants to keep his lane pushed. And
He's
here we go.
also 3 levels up. They get the slow onto Bori, but they don't really need the gank. They just want to take the turret. They'll get it. Ooh, IM looking like they want to fight here. I don't know if this is a good idea.
Again, their only form of disengage, or engage rather, is that Alistar. So they don't have the best way to actually chase down people once they start running. And Trace will get just a tiny amount of damage onto this top lane turret. Jumping back. Oh, minion wave not actually going to reach it. Smeb arrives in the nick of time. So it's just a waiting game right now for Jin Air before they can force another engagement. Minute and a half until the next dragon.
It's weird. This feels like a game that should be like around 26 minutes, 28 minutes in, but we're actually only at 18.
Yeah, I mean, they found a way to get Trace a lot more farm again in this game. Found a way to get him a kill early on as well. So there's really not a whole lot this Kayle is going to be able to do. We'll see which way he goes with his itemization. If he really wants to keep split pushing against the Jax, the Hurricane may not be the best option. Of course, that item loses a lot of efficiency if you're not actually hitting multiple targets with it, in spite of the fact that you do get the good shred still from the faster attack speed.
That's true. Oh, flash pulverize, and there's the teleport. They're going to go all in. Lot used to try to take out Che. He's only a support. There we go.
Wow, they had a good timing on that, too. His ultimate just came back off cooldown. Fly is going to be happy to split push, though.
Was it worth all of that, though? The ults, the teleport for just a support?
If they can get the dragon off of it, then yes, but they're losing the tier 2 turret up in the top lane. Fly doesn't really have a lot of damage for that yet. He is going into the Death Cap this game, the more traditional build, as opposed to the Lich Bane. So he's not going to be split pushing as hard as some Lulus can, but will be much more efficient in these team fights.
Smeb chasing down Trace now. Even got the Q on him, a little bit of a slow. Can Trace escape? He'll have to flash as a counter flash from Smeb, but he didn't get in range of the Q. If he can W himself, there we go. There's the slow, the counter strike. Trace coming in. Smurf chases and steals the kill. Oh, Smurf.
I'm not sure how that fight engaged down there, but Smeb did a really good job of playing with distance on Kale in order just to take out the Jax. So
now IM should be able to get this dragon too.
And yeah, but they lost a tier 2 up in the top lane for all their play now onto the bottom side of the map. So the gold lead really doesn't change a whole lot. They don't have pressure on any towers, and they're unlikely to get it at this point now. Just waiting for Trace to come back up. Teleport available for Trace now, so they can continue to make split pushing plays as long as he feels he can actually handle this Kale. And with the slow and
I don't know if he can.
The speed boost from the Kale, it is really, you can dodge that counter strike. You can turn it around pretty fast. So it does end up being a bit of a game of cat and mouse here.
Sure enough.
And look at that, Smeb actually going for the Sheen now, so he is not building the Hurricane. He is very confident in his ability to stop the Jax split push and shut it down.
I think that's a good idea. I feel like that last fight said a lot about, the abilities of these two players in the 1v1, and it is hard to engage on a Kale if they get that early Q on you.
And not only that, but Thai and Bori will have enough damage to make picks on their own.
Yeah.
And get some burst down. So Jin, they have to be very careful about where they're walking right now. Their gold lead has dwindled by about 1,000. They're only 5K up at the moment.
Still a significant lead, but not quite as much as it was a moment ago. Oh, Alistar's got a lot of back hair.
He has a cow mane.
I guess so, yeah. It's not really hair, though. Maybe when they do a visual update, it'll be like hair that flops majestically in the breeze.
We can only hope.
That's right.
So Trace back to split pushing right now. Smeb unable to match him because he doesn't have that teleport up, and Kale doesn't have a way to interrupt the port.
Yeah.
So it does limit your ability to split push when your TP is down because you don't even have the comfort of maybe stopping the Jax.
Viewing, helping IM gets a little bit more control over the Baron pit. And the Jin stealths just kind of milling around again. Che tried to go for a Zenith Blade there. Oh, and there's a nice slow onto Smurf. He has to get out. And that's going to allow a little bit of jungle. Oh, the teleport coming in there from Trace. Trace trying to chase down Smurf. I don't know if he can get him, though. We'll see. Smurf does not have... Oh, there's the ultimate. Yeah, I was going to say he doesn't have Flash, but he does have Dragon's Rage. That's going to be pretty good for Trace. Fly eats a spear, but with that shield, it's not so bad on Lulu.
Oh, he's a little bit late on the shield, actually, so he did eat the damage.
Yeah, right. Well, in that case, the spear's not so bad.
Yeah, Jin stealth's now looking a lot less decisive than they were previously.
Wow, Kale just kills turrets so fast. They'll save it for now, but they nearly took that out. Oh, nice spear onto Captain Jack.
Yeah, it's just the siege is continuing right here. They don't have the teleport onto Jax right now, so hard to split push, and they're going to lose mid.
Yep, they will. And a bit of a comeback on the way now for Incredible Miracle #1, possibly.
Yeah, just coming up here. And they managed to get the vision control down as well over the Baron pit. And Jax used the port to come up to the top side, but actually didn't do much of anything at all with it. And they didn't even get good vision down, so a bit of a missed opportunity from the Jin stealths as well.
Well, so far, things still in Jin favor, but not by much now.
Yeah, Trace back to his old split pushing ways. He's just trying to build up into that Trinity Force eventually, getting what farm he can. But Smeb has evened up with him, really. Come ahead in terms of CS, actually.
Yeah.
Just the wave clear from that Kale doing a lot of work so far.
That tends to happen, even if you are with your other teammates. You just attack so fast that you're going to be last hitting nearly everything.
Yeah, the big advantage is for Fly, though, who, again, has a massive CS lead over the mid lane. Captain Jack doing well for himself as well.
Yep.
And so Jin, they're just waiting for somebody to get out of position so they can make a play. But insufficient pink wards right now. They do have a couple down around the Baron pit. Could use some behind just so they can start clearing.
Well, IM seems to have kind of tightened things up a little bit compared to their last game and compared to earlier this game as well. They're not giving Jin Air those opportunities like they were earlier.
Yeah, Trace coming over to the mid lane right now. He does see Twitch, and it's just a battle for these pink wards, but they're confident that they're going to be able to take it out. They do. Eats a spear, but it's not so bad due to the Merc Treads and the Hex Drinker.
Yeah.
And the great thing for the Jin Air stealths is that they will be able to itemize heavily with magic resist and deny a lot of damage. So if we're looking at a late game scenario against Kale and against Nidalee, the Banshee's Veils are going to be doing a lot of work for them, but they're pretty far away from those items at the moment. The game's going to have to go about another 15 minutes before we really start to see 3 or 4 Banshee's Veils on the side of Jin Air.
This could certainly be a longer one, and look at this, Trace getting a little bit caught by Smeb again, but this time he'll make it out.
Yeah, it's interesting. He does just have to run against the Kale at the moment. Doesn't have the mobility to go toe-to-toe.
Especially with Kale picking up that needlessly large rod. Yeah, she's got a lot more damage than Jax does at the moment.
And in fact, it may have been a good idea for Jax to buy an earlier Negatron cloak this game, just so he wouldn't be bullied out as hard, and he could at least like maybe try and CS a little bit on the minion wave, even through the Kale harassment.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Some damage onto Bori, and the culling maybe not quite enough.
Captain Jack's cullings this game have really been spot on. He's managed to push a lot of people out. Not quite getting the kill, but definitely changing the tides in terms of pressure, and the timing couldn't have been better on that dragon also. So catching somebody out there, going after the Kale.
Speaking of catching people, yeah, Kale on the run. Doesn't need to use the W yet. Goes ahead and uses the flash. And can Jin Air fight this now? Smeb does have teleport available, but he's not going to be far enough away to really need to use it. They're going for Dragon. The poke from IM is really what they need to connect with. Drake gets low, they do get it, Smurf gets locked up, tries to get away, there's Alistar coming in, knocks Fly out of the fight. Chaser comes in to try to get an E, but he misses everybody. Bori backing off and kiting really nicely, Che getting a bit low, and now IM can turn it around. The spears are really dangerous, but Smeb takes a lot of damage himself as well. Poison coming in, Bori's still full health. Maybe Trace can get in the back lines, but Che in trouble now. Just trying to get a little bit more sunlight procs to his teammates, but just not enough. And Jin Air on the run.
Yeah, only 1 death though for Jin Air, so definitely a worthwhile trade for them.
Yeah, they traded support for support, but they did get the Dragon, so.
Well, and there's no follow-up play here too for IM. All the lanes are pushed into their territory. They've got one top that's moving in their favor, but it just not, they just don't have any presence up there yet. Smeb actually also not choosing to teleport in order to see if he can knock down the tier 1 with that minion wave. He could have taken it more than likely, but they value it so highly right now because with that spell down, they have no way to stop the Jax, and they're actually doing a good job of stopping the Jax so far.
Yeah. Well, Fly is going to get to clear the minions up in top lane, and that's going to give him even more of a big CS lead against Thai, but it just seems like, I don't know, IM has just had Jin Air's number in the last couple fights now.
Yeah. Though, again, the advantage did go to Jin Air. It was a worthwhile trade for them. And
it just feels better for IM. I don't know. I can't explain it, but I feel like the longer this game goes, the better it is for IM. Scaling aside, I know we've got the Jax, but just go with me on this one.
I
know you won't, but my gut is beginning to tell me IM.
No, not with this kind of deficit. 7K gold lead at this point. The Jax will become a monster eventually. And even if Jax isn't going to be the biggest split pushing threat this game, as soon as the defensive items come in, IM is not going to be able to do enough damage fast enough because they don't really have a true tank. You can ignore the Alistar after he uses his cooldowns. And then at that point, even the immunity, the invulnerability from the Kale ultimate isn't going to last long enough to actually do much of anything because Trace will still be standing when all is said and done, and he'll just kill the entire team after that because the targets are very low HP for the most part. And Twitch is extremely immobile in teamfights, so IM's going to have to teamfight really, really well in that situation.
That's right. They will. We'll see. So
Smeb finishing up the Lich Bane right now, making him just a little bit burstier. Lichbane nearly done for Lulu, and that will be a big, big help as they at least try and find small windows of time to go after some of these turrets.
Well, we'll see what Fly gets when he goes back. Oh, we canceled the recall. Going to go in onto Nidalee in the back lines. Che actually came in. There's a teleport coming in for Smeb. Nice wild growth, knocks a few people up. Captain Jack had that on him, and Jinair turning around the culling, doing a lot of damage to Smurf, and Bori getting a little bit caught. Captain Jack flashing over the wall to pick that one up. And now Smeb just fighting for his life against the rest of Jinair, and it's not going to work. Well, that's pretty much what you said.
Yeah, they all in right there onto Captain Jack, blew all their cooldowns in their engage, and then they didn't have any follow-up crowd control. So Trace teleported in a little bit late to that fight for the cleanup, but the fact that he got into the back lines for free meant great things.
Yeah, well, Thigh might be a little bit annoying here with these spears. We'll see what he can do. Damage onto Captain Jack, but there's the Baron buff.
Yeah, they formed a protective ring around the Baron just so Thigh wasn't going to be able to have any opportunity to steal it with a spear, and Captain Jack at full HP isn't going to have any problems body blocking that and then healing back up with the red buff. Captain Jack just having another outstanding game. So let's take a look at this again. So coming in here, Che initiates on debuting, and they think they have an opportunity. So there's the engagement. Captain Jack, wild growth, two-man knock-up, and he's just too tanky at this point. So he gets in a good position to culling around the side. And look at Trace. Just finds Smurf right there, immediately flashes forward, and then they isolate Bori. Again, IM showing that they split up a little poorly in these team fights. We saw that in their last game as well, where they didn't have the best positioning, and they kind of over-pursued a lot of the time and over-committed to engages that they weren't capable of following up on. But with this kind of deficit, it's...
what do you do, you know?
Yeah, you have to do something, so...
Yep. Speaking of something, they're going to try to sneak into this top lane, but Fly must have seen Viewing going into that brush. And there's only one reason an Alistar would hide in the brush like that at this point in the game, and that's if he's not alone.
Yeah, they just need to make a pick. Fly feeling very cautious. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, they're going to go in. There's the pulverized Fly. Maybe in a bit of trouble. There's a headbutt. I don't think he's getting out of this one. Wild Growth comes down.
Oh.
Jinair trying to get up in time. Lulu, a great escape artist, but can she escape from this? Glitterlance works out, and this Lulu will make it out. Wow.
Wow, and just...
Crazy escape, and now here comes Chaser coming in, and Viewing is going to die first. Fly with a bit of revenge, and now with the Solar Flare, Smeb has to pop his ultimate, and Chaser can just wait it out for that kill. Meanwhile, a turret goes down to Trace in the bot lane.
Well, that's what happens when you don't have the Kale there to actually stop the Jax. And also coming in, I mean, really that was played about as well as IM could have played it. In fact, Smeb flashed the first Glitter Lance to be able to keep sticking to the target, but Lulu just too tanky, too many shields.
Well, that shield is just huge right now with the amount of AP that Lulu has, and on top of all that, the mobility is just so good. There goes an inhibitor, another one. And Jinair, oh, they're going to dive onto Bori here. Chase comes in. There's a couple knockouts from both sides. Chaser gets knocked back towards the team. They tried to kick him in the fountain. It doesn't work. And Jinair evaporates IM. That is an ace, and that will be the game.
Fantastic chaining of CC right there from the Jinair stealths. They really moved very fluidly between the Wild Growth and the three-man Jack stun, making it easy to close out.
Smeb alive just to watch his world burn. GG and the Jinair stealths make it into Champion Summer.
As expected, they had a little bit of a speed bump in the mid-game, but with their composition and their need to scale, that's not really too surprising. I like the Kale pick. It did seem to work out pretty well when they actually got him into the 1v1 lane. But I think, botching a few engages and a few team fights once again, not able to pull out a win like they did last time, and now they will have to fight in one final game for their chance to get into Champion Summer.
Yep, that's right. They'll play the winner of our